girls. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a good Monday. I'm feeling off, under the weather or something. I don't know. I haven't felt good. I'm not even having coffee. I'm having a GGMS. A really puckery one, apparently. I don't know. I got halfway through the gym yesterday and had to stop. Didn't feel good. Almost passed out. Just not feeling me. I don't know. I just don't feel good. Don't have anything specific. I just don't feel that good. General malaise. So anyway, today is October 28th, the time of Jesus' return, Mark 13:32 through 37. However, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself. Only the Father knows. And since you don't know when that time will come, be on guard. Stay alert. The coming of the Son of Man can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. When he left home, he gave each of his slaves instructions about work they were to do, and he told the gatekeeper to watch for his return. You too must keep watch, for you don't know when the master of the household will return. In the evening, at midnight, before dawn, or at daybreak. Don't let him find you sleeping when he arrives without warning. I say to you what I say to everyone, watch for him. Matthew 24:36 through 51. However, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself. Only the Father knows. When the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in Noah's day. In those days before the flood, the people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings right up to the time Noah entered his boat. People didn't realize what was going to happen until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. Two men will be working together in a field. One will be taken, and the other will be left. Two women will be grinding flour at the mill. One will be taken, and the other left. So you too must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. Understand this: if a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would keep watch and not permit his house to be broken into. You also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. A faithful, sensible servant is one whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. I tell you the truth, the master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. But what if the servant is evil and thinks, my master won't be back for a while, and he begins beating the other servants, partying, or getting drunk? The master will return unannounced and unexpected, and he will cut the servant to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Luke 21:34 through 38. Watch out. Don't let your hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness, and by the worries of this life. Don't let that day catch you unaware, like a trap, for that day will come upon every living thing on earth. Keep alert at all times, and pray that you might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man. Every day Jesus went into the temple to teach, and each evening he returned to spend the night on the Mount of Olives. The crowds gathered at the temple early each morning to hear him. Story of the 10 bridesmaids, Matthew 25:1 through 13. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The 5 who were foolish didn't take enough olive oil for their lamps, but the other 5 were wise enough to take along extra oil. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight they were roused by the shout, look, the bridegroom is coming. Come out and meet him. All the bridesmaids got up and prepared their lamps. Then the 5 foolish ones asked the others, please give us some of your oil, because our lamps are going out. But the others replied, we don't have enough for all of us. Go to a shop and buy some for yourselves. But while they were gone to buy oil, the bridegroom came. Then those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was locked. Later, when the other 5 bridesmaids returned, they stood outside, calling, Lord, Lord, open the door for us. But he called back, believe me, I don't know you. So you too must keep watch, for you do not know the day or hour of my return. Story of the three servants, Matthew 25:14 through 30. Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by a story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them. While he was gone, he gave 5 bags of silver to one, 2 bags of silver to another, and 1 bag of silver to the last, dividing it in proportion to their abilities. He then left on his trip. The servants who received the 5 bags of silver began to invest the money and earned 5 more. The servants with 2 bags of silver also went to work and earned 2 more. But the servants who received the 1 bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid the master's money. After a long time, their master returned from his trip and called them to give account of how they had used his money. The servant to whom he had entrusted the 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 5 more. The master was full of praise. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount. So now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together. The servant who had received 2 bags of silver came forward and said, Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 2 more. The master said, Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount. So now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together. Then the servant with the 1 bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. I was afraid I would lose your money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money back. But the master replied, You wicked and lazy servant, if you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. Then he ordered, Take the money from the servant and give it to the one with the 10 bags of silver. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Now throw this useless servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The final judgment, Matthew 25:31 through 46. But when the Son of Man comes in all his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit upon his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered in his presence, and he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will place the sheep at his right hand, and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me into your home. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you cared for me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then these righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty, or give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me. Then the king will return to those on the left and say, Away with you, you cursed ones, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry, and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty, and you didn't give me a drink. I was a stranger, and you didn't invite me into your home. I was naked, and you didn't give me clothing. I was sick and in prison, and you didn't visit me. Then they will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick in prison and not help you? And he will answer, I'll tell you the truth. When you refused to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me. And they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous will go into eternal life. All right. All right, we're at the top of page 74. And I'm missing a good chunk of the page, so I'm going to try to figure out what it says. Here's the thing. From a kingdom mindset, children don't belong to their parents. They are entrusted to their parents, but they are the Lord's. Even legally, we call children dependents, not property. A parent does not have the authority to supersede the name God has already given their child. And if God has named anyone good, let no one say otherwise. This isn't a parenting book, but I'll tell you that my personal conviction is that my calling as a parent is to listen to God and mirror his heart back to each of my children. This takes prayer and effort to pause and hear his heart for each of them. I have to be incredibly careful about my words so as to not put burdens on them that he wouldn't. Do I do this wrong? Yes, a lot. Do all of us do this wrong with all types of people? Yes, a lot. We talked in the last chapter about trying to see misnamings through a lens of empathy and potentially even forgiveness. But as we move forward, it's important to note how the situation in our past may have weakened our own perceived power to agree or disagree with what was spoken over us. If you couldn't reject the early misnaming, do you feel unable to do it now? Do you still have a hard time shaking off the unkind things your parents or those in authority spoke to you or over you? For those who struggle with that, I don't believe it's because we're weak. I believe it's because we're tender and pliable, the way God made us. But I do believe that we can heal and establish new boundaries, growing new muscles that enable us to reject any ungodly words spoken over us. As we begin to break some chains and some ties with the lies that have come our way, with the names that have been wrongly spoken over us, with the authority others have taken unjustly in our lives, here are 3 truths to anchor you when misnaming comes your way. Number 1, words hold whatever power we give them. This truth can feel out of reach for children or for those who are vulnerable to submission and authority. But many of us now have the space and authority to at least begin rejecting messages from those who are not in authority positions over us, and we can ask God to heal the wounds of our past. This takes time, and for many of us, it may take help from a counselor or a pastor. I believe it will also take prayer. Proverbs 22:6 says, "You have as little to fear from an undeserved curse as from the dart of a wren or the swoop of a swallow." I love this verse from Proverbs. An undeserved curse, negative name that we don't allow to permeate into our souls, can be obnoxious and annoying without being destructive and deadly. Right off the bat, I entreat you to see any damaging words from anyone you don't belong to as really frustrating birds. Yes, it might fly in your face temporarily, but it is never going to take you out. You are much stronger than it ever could be. All right, we'll stop there. Stop there. All right. Let me just scroll back and get any prayer requests. Oh, excuse me. Oh, poor little guy. I can't imagine. Poor little guy. Rita, thanks for sharing that with us. All right, girls, let's go ahead and pray together. God our Father, we thank you that we can come to you with these heavy, heavy worries and these prayer requests that are burdens and difficult and struggles in the lives of many women here, God. And I just thank you that we have a God who loves us, that wants to hear from us, that wants a relationship with us, that asks us to come to Him with our hearts. And God, we just praise and worship you this morning for all that you are to us and the message that you give us each morning through the reading of your word. God, I lift up Karen to you. I continue to ask for your healing and strength. Her recovery is going well, but we ask that you continue that process, the healing and the days to come. I just continue to pray for Karen and her strength. God, we also praise you and thank you for little Silas and that he's doing well with the neck brace. And we just ask for continued strength for him and his family and protection over all of them. We also continue to pray for Jeannie as she starts her chemo in just a couple of days. Continue to strengthen her and just surround her with peace. God, we lift up Elizabeth to you and continue to ask for prayers for her marriage and family and to strengthen her in this time that she's walking through. We also pray for little Jackson and for strength for his family as they get ready to bring him home, hopefully, and prepare the home for him and have a fundraiser. We just ask for your provision there to provide for his family the needs that will be needed for him in his days to come. God, we also pray for Jamaica this morning and this hurricane that is hitting them, and just ask for protection over them. God, help us to make decisions today that honor you with our words, our actions, what we choose to eat, what we choose not to eat. Help us to honor you with everything that we say and do. In your precious name I pray. Amen. All right, my dear friends, thank you for joining me this morning. I was going to cook this morning, but girls, I'm just not feeling good. So I'm not going to cook. I've got a full GGMS to sip on. It's packed with protein. It's completely protein, a full serving of protein. So this is what I'm going to have this morning. I really was looking forward to coming back to cooking this morning, but I'm not feeling great. I don't know. I'm getting kind of achy. So I'm just going to do my work and not go live today. But I'll be back soon. Hopefully be back to cooking live soon and back to feeling better. And yeah. All right, girls, I love you so much. I hope you have a fabulous day today, this Tuesday. Get some movement in and eat on plan, for goodness sakes. It's Tuesday. You don't have any reason to go off plan on a Tuesday of all days. It's a boring day to go off plan. It really is. Not as boring as Wednesday, but still boring. All right, girls. Thank you, Crystal. All right, girls. I love you all. I hope you have a fabulous